Kathy Nichols, and I'm a lifelong artist, painter, and teacher. I help students of all ages tap into their creativity with watercolor. Watercolor is a great way to express yourself, and it's easy to get started and fun to do. My watercolor lessons are designed for beginners of all ages. No theory and not too technical. Just follow along with me. I hope you join me to learn how to paint with watercolor. I can't wait to see your paintings. Welcome to the next lesson in our bird portrait series. Some of our most popular lessons have been bird portraits. See our watercolor bird portrait playlist to see them all. Cedar Waxwings have very distinct markings and are very interesting to watch and fun to paint. We'll use one brush, 9 paints, and 4 techniques. Let's get started. Take your spray bottle, spray your pans of paint here, put some water in your palette, here's my photograph that I use as a model. And here is the template that I use by tracing the photograph. Place your template on your paper. Take your liner brush, wet it, and load your liner brush with yellow ochre. All right. Let's go ahead and soften some of the lines here. You can just wet your brush and put water on your brush, and that will spread the paint. So let's put some cadmium yellow on the belly here. Don't go all the way up. The color starts to change about here into the shade of a mustard color. So then you will want to load your liner brush with yellow ochre and blend it with that cadmium yellow right here. And then bring that color up here towards the beak. A little bit to the side. Now about right here, the wing starts, and it's a darker brown. So spread that color around that part and up towards the neck. Now, around here, this is where the bird has a mask. So let's create that shape that we will fill in later with a darker color. And it's shaped like this, and then it comes up here before the feathers start to stick out on the crown of the head there. And then comes down towards the beak. Like that. And then the black actually goes on top of the beak and back down around like that. And the beak is going to be a gray color. We'll work on that. Let's spread some more of this color along here. Like that. Now, the wing here is a dark brown, and then it turns into a black, and there's two bright red markings. I'm going to show the photograph again so you can see that. And we're going to be working on this area here. So to make the brown color, take burnt sienna and a touch of the burnt umber. That has more of the brown color in it. And start on top there and work down. And there's a white feather about right here. So you want to leave a white space. Then come back here and carry that color. And then load your brush as needed. Now, when you're coming up towards the neck here, it goes back to the color that we have here. So we want to blend those. And the easiest way to blend it is when the watercolor is wet. So this area right here, you will want to load your liner with yellow ochre and add some of the burnt sienna. That was a little bit thick. I need to thin it out. And you can thin it out by adding some water. Now, I notice right here, I started to go down here and it's creating a line. And I don't like that. So to blend it, make it softer, you can add some water. Get the paint to mix and you won't have that hard line. Let's take a moment and dry. Okay, now this area right where the brown is, now that it's dry, I want to add another layer to make it dark. So I'm using the burnt umber and the burnt sienna mixture. I want that a little browner, so I think I need, if it's too much on the orange color, just add some more burnt umber. Yeah, that's better. Okay, let's work on the area down here. Now I'm adding some of the brown, just a light layer. And then the two bright red marks are going to be about right here. But below this brown, there's some dark black feathers with white. So to make that dark color, take your liner brush and mix with ultramarine blue and burnt umber. And do some feathers below that line there. And leave some white spots. Now there's some of the darker feathers are right here. Clean your brush. And now we'll add those bright red feathers about right here. And there's 2 of them. And to make that color, load your brush with crimson and cadmium red. And it's right below here, just 2 little spots. Now I notice this area could be darker, but I'm going to let it dry a little bit and work on the area down here. And this part, we want to load our liner with cadmium yellow and add more of that yellow. Like that. Okay, now let's work on the beak. The beak is a gray color. Now we have this dark mixture on our palette, and we can use that and add some white to it to make it more of a gray color. And let's take some of that gray, and we're going to build the mask by painting a lighter color on it and then dry it and then put a darker color. Now, the eye is about right here, and it's lighter, so I'm going to use some of that gray to build the eye here. Now, I want that to dry a little bit, so let's work on the top here, the crown. Now this top here is about this color here, which is, to create that, we want to take our liner and take yellow ochre with a touch of burnt sienna. And on the back, the feathers are kind of straggly. You want to make a straight line. Kind of like that. Now I noticed when I was looking at my painting, there's a puddle and lines here. Sometimes you want that. I don't want that, so I'm just going to take some of that paint and go over that and make those lines disappear or not be so strong. So the feathers here aren't quite the right shape. And when I look back at the photograph, I notice I'm going to work on this and I will just show you. So again, I'm taking some of that same color, yellow ochre, with a touch of burnt sienna. And there's one that kind of comes out further than the rest. And then you can add some kind of dark lines so it gives it texture and looks like feathers. And as it comes closer to the beak, you want it to be lighter. Like that. Now, under the beak, there is a shadow. So we want to create kind of a dark shadow. We can do that by using that brown color with a touch of burnt sienna and mostly Burntumber. It's a little too dark. Again, if something is too dark, you can thin it out with water. And just blend it to the area here. And you might have to play with it. Okay, now I see that a spot of water dropped here, and that's an easy fix. And sometimes you don't see things happen until they dry completely. But what I love about watercolor is it's easy to go in and fix it. Just takes a little patience and time. So I want to darken this brown area. And this time use just straight burnt umber. There, that's better. And then darken some of the feathers here. I want it to be close to a black.
And how do you make it?
And to make it black, you use your ultramarine blue and burnt umber. There, that's better. And sometimes I notice it's still a little gray. You can add a touch of burnt umber, and that will give it a little complexity and add the richness to a black color. Just a touch. And there's some white peeking out, so I'm not going to fill in completely here. And the same, excuse me, and the same up here by the beak, leaving some of the white. Like that. Now, the beak is gray, but I do want to add some contrast to that by adding another shade of gray, but a gray that will be darker. So to get that gray mixture, fill your liner with burnt umber, ultramarine blue, and some white. I'm making the bottom beak a little darker so you can see the definition of the upper and lower beak. Just like that. I just think these birds are so beautiful and striking. Now,
are you done with it?
Now let's give it a good dry, review it, and see if you think you're done. So you have options here, and you can leave it as a relief like this, which is some people's personal preference, or you could add something more. And what I think would be great to add here is when you watch these birds, you notice they love those bright red berries. So we can add some berries with a branch off to the side right here, just faintly. So let's do that. Start by taking your liner brush and let's make the branch. So use some of our brown mixture I have here on my palette, which is burnt umber. And draw just a branch coming down about like that. And then clean your brush. Now let's make the leaves using sap green. Now, to make the berries, you will want to use crimson and a touch of the cadmium red. Put a cluster right here. Just like that, just a little branch off to the side. He's almost ready to eat his lunch. And then you can let it dry or again use your blow dryer. I'm going to let mine naturally dry. I really enjoy painting this bird. I hope you did too. Join me next time when we'll have some more creative fun. To give watercolor a try, please give a thumbs up, subscribe, and take a lesson or two. Take care, be safe, and see you soon.